Whoa, there goes my jack in hand.
It is I, Yoshimitsu.
The time has come. A tale of souls and swords eternally retold.
I need therapy. Man, I love Soulcalibur. Are you kidding me? It's a game where you pick a guy and they just like they stare at each other in the screen for a while and he's all like you know, this game doesn't actually have that. They just stare, cold, unfeeling. Ugh. But expectation is half the battle with these multi-entry franchises. Thankfully, I've acquired these rose-tinted glasses I'm just gonna put on. Man, everything's so nostalgic and separated from reality. Oh my god, guys, look at Sung Mina and Lizardman and Huang. Astaroth calls people filthy maggots. And Inferno is here, but only in single players because he's a little silly. And it's old Soulcalibur and Soul Edge before they became completely unrecognizable. And I love it so much. It's so beautiful. Oh. But that's just the Namco Banditos trying to rob your senses. Take off the glasses and there's a little more to say. Surprisingly, the gameplay is really fun. They amped up the movement speed, along with some classically slow attacks. The pacing of matches is pretty great. I'm not gonna break down every move you can do. Go watch my other videos if this all looks too hard for you. The point is, some games are shallow, and Soulcalibur is an ocean. Or at least a lake. There's some choices you gotta make. Do you act completely insane, like about 50% of the online player base, or do you actually think about the moves you make? Are you going to walk around and play mind games, or just run forward and attack and hope your attack strings mix people up like a vile pea-brain virgin?
And I'm still mad about it.
Are you going to engage with the new mechanics intelligently, or just delicately and elegantly slide them right into your play style? Okay, so you have a meter again, which is 1000% gonna dictate the pace of every game. For example, you have to play really carefully when the enemy has a bar in case they throw out a random critical edge. That's a critical edge right there. And you eat 1 billion damage for it. Or worse yet, they'll go Super Saiyan and then just give up. Critical Edge is the super move cutscene that's been around since the 5th game. They're annoying and that's about it. You already know about 90% of the time when you're dead, and you'll get the feeling of just, like, can I pause and play the game again? Pretty frequently. It's also fun realizing they're not invincible right away. Like, you'll try to surprise a dude with one to interrupt an attack and lose a full bar by being interrupted. So you'll take all your fun magic power and lock it up and never let it go. In a positive note, you can go Super Saiyan as mentioned, which is where the extended combos are. It seems, in a wise move if you ask me, that they've opted to allow long combos, but only when powered up, generally speaking. Yeah, some combos are still long, but the game doesn't feel like Soulcalibur 4 anymore. It's risky too, because it's not guaranteed damage. So I'm down for it. It's all right. And finally, reversal edge. So okay, understatement of the year incoming. This is probably the most daring gameplay mechanic I've seen added to a fighting game, period. Brief history of Soulcalibur. I knocked my opponent down and now I'm gonna do a move while he's getting up and I'll knock him down again. I could do a low attack and hit for sure, but he'll probably expect that and block. Instead, I'll use a vertical attack, which hits crouching enemies even if they try to block. That's a mix-up, and a 50-50 at that. Fighting game communities generally don't like 50-50s because they're coin flips. At least true 50-50s. In the last example, the opponent could also observe what was happening and react, so it wasn't just a coin flip, okay? Reversal edge is daring because it blocks almost anything, does free damage, then puts the characters into a rock, paper, scissors cutscene. Something I haven't seen since Bleach Shattered Blade, which is not a good game by any single definition of the word. However, during this cutscene, you can hit any of the major attack buttons, block, or input a movement. Blocking and moving are what stop the thing from being a true rock, paper, scissors situation, or I guess a safer coin flip. Otherwise, this mechanic would be stupid and disruptive, and yeah, there's a lot of angry people on Reddit who don't know how to deal with it, and that's kind of expected. When an enemy does this at the end of the round and your health is low, you just die if you attack into it. It feels like a real gotcha moment, and yeah, it's frustrating. It probably is intended to add excitement to the game and to make blocking easier for beginners, but it seems to be bothering people more than it's helping. I personally use it to end a round against a trigger-happy opponent. It's also notable that this system now interacts with the guard impact system, because now you can use reversal edge after being guard impacted as a means of countering the enemy's successive guard impact. In short, I don't want to say it, but it's kind of bringing back the mind games of Soulcalibur 2 in a really weird way. Oh, also, everyone seems to have a multi-hit string that's abusable enough to make it feel like you can pick up any character and get a good feel for them without being totally gimped by lack of knowledge. Bless up for intuitive game design. So yeah, gameplay is awesome and deep and really really interesting and addictive, and I love it so much. So with that, let's talk about the content. The roster is small, but it's expected. Soulcalibur hasn't done so well recently that it's worth it to the company to sink time and resources into, at least according to the company itself. So we lost Yunsung, Huang, Cassandra, Setsuka, Amy, Rock, etc. I'm disappointed, but not surprised. And really surprised, in fact, by the inclusion of Raphael. I mean, he just walked in here wearing those. Are you kidding me, bro? Overall, the designs are fantastic. A great return to form overall. Campy, but not insane. So about these two. This character would definitely fit into Soul Edge, Soulcalibur 1 and Soulcalibur 2 for sure. No questions asked, you know, like practically everyone in Soulcalibur 2 went legitimately Super Saiyan and made energy explosions. Definitely thematically on point. No questions asked. Same with Aswell, man. Remember how Charade was a pile of floating rocks and how that's exactly, pinpoint exactly comparable to a Chinese emperor looking dude summoning glowing colored weapons and manipulating them like Magneto himself? Crossover with Warriors Orochi 4 when? Look, at this point the aesthetic is ingrained and Aswell is at least interesting. Bro is basically the character that every edgelord in existence is playing right now, and I'm getting a little fucking sick of it. Oh yeah, and Geralt. He is a character that exists. I mean, cool guest character and mostly fitting, especially considering some stuff I'll talk about later. A little bit annoying to fight. Seen enough shitty OCs with his fighting style, I'm gonna probably have a stroke later. Also, Tiro was day one DLC, and while that's dumb, and everyone's mad about it deservingly, the creators have generously given me the ability to exclude her from my game, and that is fucking priceless. Alright, so story mode. Yeah, a bit of an aesthetic continuation with the 4th and 5th game, you know, really bombastic anime stylings that clash pretty hard with the underlying reality of 1580X, and nowhere does that become more apparent than story mode.
A JPEG!
So, not that it's a big deal, but why change what they did in the 3rd game? Story mode wasn't amazing then either, but at least it was something close to engaging. In this game, you get stuck watching or skipping these long-ass, shallow, boring cutscenes, and you fight every once in a while, but the fighting rules aren't even the normal fighting rules, like enemies have more HP than average and you do less damage and you can't use all your abilities for some fucking reason. Seriously, I've seen enough comments to know that people like writing and aesthetics that don't take themselves too seriously. But this game's story consistently treats itself like the most serious events ever told by man.
What the oh my god, this is great. Like, just look at this shit. Oh my god, you just killed that guy. Holy shit, Gro's a fucking murderer. All who stand in my way will die. This is beautiful.
The opening cutscene already sets the tone, shown here.
Transcending history and the world, a tale of souls and swords, eternally retold. Our story takes place in the 16th century.
And then there's people who are dying and warriors need to rise up, and there's just some Norwegian dickhead with highlights in the 1500s, and never mind. I put on the mind control glasses, and now I'm just grateful my Namco Bandai masters have created this product for me to love and enjoy. I feel like the real kicker is that in the main story, and presumably others, you can't use your powers and play the game as you normally would. It distorts expectations and it feels off. There's no inherent value in this mode, except for lore nerds who want to consume a retconned version of the events of the earlier games. For some reason. But whatever, it's a mode and it exists. Now, I've heard that some people only play these games for the character creator. What the fuck? I mean, I love Creative Soul, and especially all of its new inclusions, like being able to play as orcs and mummies, elves. If that isn't irrefutable proof that the aesthetic has changed from the first game to this, and in a way that I find unsavory, but you don't have to, gosh darn, I don't know what is. And it's not even good this time around. I swear there's fewer assets here than any game prior, but you can use stuff the actual characters wear at least. Oh, and you can also make new costumes for the main characters as well, so I have to give it props. I mean, you could do that before, but whatever. Not to mention the best inclusion. Look, I like Creative Soul, but I fell out of love with it. I wanted to make original characters when I was younger, but everybody else just wants to make Thanos and Sans and Murderfucker the Cockbeast. Seriously, that was Soulcalibur news on release day. Giant peepees. A tale of souls and swords eternally retold. You need to use Creative Soul in the new Libra of Souls mode, which is a fancy way to say we tacked really, really limp RPG elements onto a cutscene filled and somehow more boring version of Edgemaster mode from Soulcalibur 2. I'm not sure who this is marketed to exactly, like people who like being bored or people who don't like being able to play their created characters in normal games or people that don't like playing Soulcalibur the actual game. That's a thing, by the way. I can't play my orc anywhere but this barren cesspit. Great. Thank you. Oh, I almost forgot this great feature where you can hire mercenaries, and instead of you fighting enemies, you put them in the fight and then you watch them like Rent Boy. Holy shit. I don't think this is a safe for work channel. This is inappropriate. You know, all told, at the end of the day, this is a competitive fighter. There's a lot to be disappointed by in terms of single player content. Soulcalibur 3 still has better single player. Team battle is still missing. They hate male Koreans for some reason, but the versus gameplay matters most. And I think in some way, if you pick these games up to not play online competitively in some capacity, you're squandering the potential of your purchase. So the final word on online, it real good. Thanks for coming to my channel to watch a video. You can watch more if you click links under, yep. And also, there will be more videos coming soon, hopefully on all kinds of things in the future, but all in the KBash playlist. See you next time, and peace out.